No, just to give you a brief, that we have this session, which is in a blended form, where we have students here in the campus and students from outside, and also some registered students who are not from IIM Jammu, but from other institutes, universities, and IIMs who are joining us for this session. This session is the morning session where we have wonderful speakers who are joining us. We have Mr. Onir, a well-known film director. Shrutika is going to introduce us. She is going to take it forward from here, but I'm sure that all our students here sitting in the campus with us and the students who are offline are going to have a wonderful interactive session. Next 45 minutes are going to be very, very interesting, and I'm sure that all of us are going to learn much from someone who has proven his mettle in the film industry, in script writing, in direction, and is a national award-winning director. Over to you, Shrutika.
Thank you so much, sir. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first theme for today, the alchemy of leadership, art as source and inspiration. We believe that managers need to be holistic in their preparation of becoming leaders. For the same, we decided to invite guests from the entertainment industry to learn from them how they have been keeping themselves inspired in these times of crisis. We have with us Mr. Onir, National Award winning director, editor, and screenwriter. He is best known for his film My Brother Nikhil, based on the life of Dominic D'Souza. It was one of the first mainstream Hindi films to deal with AIDS and same sex relationships. In 1992, Onir directed and produced his first documentary film, Fallen Hero, based on painter Bijan Chaudhry's life. In 2006, he released his second film, Bus Iqbal, and received a nomination for the Best Director Critics Award at the Global Indian Film Awards for the film. His film I Am won the national award in two categories, Best Film and Best Lyrics. Onir received the jury special mention for outstanding work on LGBT issues at the Indus Valley International Film Festival, October 2020. The Diversity Award for Film Victoria Australia and La Trobe University at Indian Film Festival of Melbourne 2019, and many more. Together with Sanjay Suri, he started Anti-Clock Films, a production company that will concentrate on promoting young directors. He also worked on Raising the Bar, an Indo-Australian documentary about six youth with Down syndrome, which won the Hollywood International Independent Documentary Award. I would not take much time now and hand over the virtual stage to the man himself, Honor Sir.
Hi everyone, good morning. Am I audible? Is my sound clear? Is
Yes,
my
Yes,
sir.
very
sound
much.
clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me here, and thank you, Shrutika, for your kind introduction. So, hi everyone. I'm Onir. I am someone who is actually born and brought up in a very, very small place called Thimphu in Bhutan. And it's been like a long journey from there, where it's a much smaller place than Jammu or Srinagar, where I was born. And I'm born to a teacher's family. My father and mother were teachers. And right from class 8, I was dreaming to be a filmmaker. And but I didn't know how, because I mean there were no such I mean in Bhutan at that point we only had till class 10, so beyond that there was nothing there, and there was like very little exposure to arts. And I shifted to Kolkata. My parents wanted me to be a doctor then, and at that time everyone wanted their children to be the doctors or engineers. So my parents' vision of me was to be a doctor. They admitted me to a science college in Kolkata, and when they went back to Bhutan, I quietly shifted to arts. And let them know that I had changed only after 3 months, once my name was stuck off from the science college. And so it was too late for them to react, though they were very disappointed. I'm talking about this because I feel it's very important, because I keep hearing a lot of young people telling me about doing things, studying things which they're not passionate about, but doing it because their families want them to study something. And I just feel that if you really, really believe in what you want, and you believe that you have the resilience and the talent to do that, then it's okay to disappoint a family. It is okay to go against wishes. And once you succeed in what you believe, they will all come back to you. So my story has been kind of like that. So once I shifted to Jadavpur University doing comparative literature there, and so after a point, I think my parents were happy that they thought because I was doing really well, they thought I will settle down and become a professor. And then 7 days before my final post graduation exams, I got a scholarship to learn film making in Berlin, and I quit my. I mean, I didn't appear for my post graduation. I just left. So that was another big shock. But I knew at that point that I wouldn't really have the support of my family to learn filmmaking. So I had worked really hard, studied really hard, so that the scholarship I got took care of right from my flight to my stay to my food to everything when I went to Germany. And when I was studying there, I also made a point that I would save from my scholarship so that when I came back to India after my finishing my studies in Germany, I made my first documentary, which Shrutika mentioned about fallen heroes. And it was kind of very empowering that to be coming from a place which had one cinema hall, no scope of other forms of art, to slowly be coming towards my goal. And that's when I shifted to Bombay. And I knew that I was an outsider. It would take me time. So for the first 10 years, I did film editing, worked as an art director, music producer, scriptwriter, different aspects of filmmaking till in 2004 when I started working on my first film script. And I always told myself that this is what I want to. Since I was in class 8, I had wanted to be a film director. And I thought that somehow I want to reach this destination. And once I reach there, if I feel that I don't respect or like what I've done, I'll quit and figure out what else I can do. But I needed to try it out once and also respect what I did, and somehow I liked what I did, and I became a part of this industry. And I feel that it has many challenges, being an independent filmmaker, being someone who makes films on what is not mainstream commercial. But for me, the happiness has been to be able to tell the stories that I want to tell. And I always think that there are like so many people who live their entire life dreaming of something, of being something, and not being able to do because of various reasons. And this was the only dream I ever had. And I feel that all the hurdles are worth it. All the difficulties I still face are worth it because I'm living that dream. And I think that is precious. Now, coming quickly to what Shrutika mentioned as the topic today, that how was I inspiring myself during the lockdown phase? So my parents, who are quite old, they live with me. So for me, the biggest task during this thing was not only taking care of my mental health, to keep calm, not be depressed, not be anxious, but also to keep them cheerful. So I just realized, I was when I look back that I have been keeping really super, super busy. I started doing things that I always wanted to do and didn't have time. I started learning Hindustani classical music. I started, learning the guitar. I started doing a lot of workout so that I keep physically fit, and that kind of gives me energy. I feel the body and the mind are all connected. And every day I would try and cook something different for my parents so that they would feel cheerful. And slowly I started encouraging them My father is 90 and my mother is 77. Both of them to start coming to the kitchen and cooking something, and I would make small videos of them cooking and post it, and then show it to them that so many people have commented, liked, and it really got them more and more active because they got excited about being active. And the other thing I started doing is, of course, writing stories for the films that I will make in future. I thought, okay, let me use this time to write stories. I started a filmmaking competition because I realized there were so many artists, so many filmmakers who were just stagnating, feeling frustrated inside their house. So I designed this 2-minute film festival where every week I would give a different topic to people and tell them to make a film on a certain subject with complying to the lockdown guidelines. And I would choose which is the best film and best actor and actress and post them on social media. And it was amazing to see the response because I had it for 6 weeks. And every week, slowly, I started getting other filmmakers, critics to become a part of this jury. And there were people sending me films from all over the world, from Australia, from London, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka, different parts of the world. And I had I think I received over 470 films. And for me, it was a great process because I was also interacting with a lot of young people and seeing what is their thought process, what are they thinking of, how are they dealing with this strange situation that we were all in. And creating content out of that. And for me, even that was a part of learning. At the same time, I was guiding them because I would comment on anyone who had a question on what I didn't like about their film or what I liked about their film. I would always make it a point to revert back and give them my feedback about what I thought. And then the other jury members also started commenting, and I think it was it was a process that was valuable for me and the people, because I feel that lot of these people started connecting with each other, forming their own groups of filmmakers, exchanging ideas about cinema, talking to each other. And I think that is something that really kept me positive and kept me uh, active, and at the end of it, I realized very often that I didn't have time. I was running out of time. I wish I had more time because there was so many more things that I wanted to do or could have done. So yeah, that is a short story of how about me and also how I dealt with this pandemic. And I thought that it would be nicer if at some point we make it more interactive. And I would rather, instead of just blabbering myself, I rather open it up and have you ask me anything that you want, questions, so that uh, you know
Yes.
it's more
Thank.
interesting.
Right. Thank you, Onir. Thank you so much for giving us this background. I mean, we are always, in fact, most of our students are fond of film industry and watching movies and learning from them. I basically will start. Let me give my introduction first. I'm a faculty at IIM Jammu. I teach strategy and business policy. I have one question to start with before I allow students to go for it, because this is a very pertinent question which most of us mostly get to think about. And since stress is one thing which we always need to deal with when we talk about the competition that we have, the pressure that we have. And we always struggle in telling students how to deal with that, how to calm down. Now what we see here is that most of the time we try to kind of relax watching movies, watching entertainment, getting into the entertainment and relieving ourselves. But unfortunately, off late, what we have seen is that there's been things happening where even film in this film industry, many people have attempted suicides. And it seems like no, this industry is not how we see it from the outside. It's more of a pressure, more of a tension. Now, the thing which we are actually trying to see, look at to kind of get a feeling of relaxing, it's being more painful to us. So how do you, know, we want to hear from you on this important topic so that our students also get some benefit from it.
First of all, I feel that filmmaking has two aspects. One is entertainment, of course, which makes you relax. But the second, which I feel as an artist, which is more important, is something that makes you think, which provokes you. So all films are not necessarily made to make us relax, but a lot of it is made to activate our thoughts, to provoke our thoughts into thinking about the world we live in, about what is our surroundings. And I as a filmmaker, for me, that aspect of filmmaking excites me more. Secondly, I think I mean, it's known that filmmaking, film direction especially, is one of the second most stressful jobs in the world after bomber pilots, because unfortunately in the commercial space, it's like, okay, Friday when your film releases, it decides what's your what's going to how your life is going to shape up for the next few years. And I feel a lot of people value what others think of them more than what they think of themselves, and that causes the stress that what is going to happen on Friday, how is the audience going to react to me. And I remember that when my first film released, My Brother Nikhil, I had told myself that, I don't I mean, maybe that's my weakness. I really don't care about the box office. I care about what, how much I respect my work, and how people react to my work world over. So I've traveled, like, I don't know, world. I mean, I couldn't have traveled the world, but I did it only because of my films. To, I don't know how, countless film festivals, and to have reacted with people who connected with me. So I treasure that. Then how much money my film made on box office. So it is about priorities in life. What gives you happiness, and what gives me happiness is this. And I feel very often people, not just in my industry but everywhere, is always trying to be like someone else, to achieve someone else's lives, and not look at what is precious inside. Also, this whole thing that, oh my God, the filmmaking industry is so full of people who are now suddenly committing suicide. I honestly find it really funny to even think of that, because in a huge industry like this, I mean, if you really look around, how many farmers have committed suicide in the last year? How many people from various, I mean, in India, if you really look at the data, there are people committing suicide from every uh, sphere. And film industry people are also human beings like everyone else, and there are people who go through mental health problem. There are people who cannot deal with unfortunately. And in the recent during the lockdown, we have had some people who succumb to that. But I feel that that is not specific to the film industry. That is something that's been happening to people from various industry. People talk about the industry more. The media makes it that, oh my God, look at this industry, But I feel that that's really unfair, because this is something that happens everywhere. No one talks about the farmers dying, every year, because their lives seem to not matter. But for me, I feel that every life is equal, be it a star or someone who feeds us every day. And I feel that we kind of because of certain situations, suddenly everyone decided, okay, this is the time we spotlight everything on the film industry. And I feel, no, this is not, there is stress like in every field, but it's a beautiful industry with a lot of beautiful people. And I feel I have come as an outsider. I have come from no background except my talent and my skills. And this city, Mumbai, and this film industry, the Bombay film industry, has made me feel at home, has given me love, has given me respect. And I feel it has a lot of precious, beautiful people.
Right. Thank you so much. So we have students here who have some questions to ask. We have students, a lot of students online also. If someone wants to ask question online, he or she can raise hands. I can even see some hands being raised. But before that, let me take some questions from the students who are sitting here patiently listening and eager to ask questions. So let me take our first student for questions. Maybe you can come here and ask the question.
Good morning, sir. A very warm
Hello.
welcome to IIM Jammu. So this is Shraddha, and my question to you is that we've always been talking about leadership, and one thing that we all know is that leader is someone who's always motivating people, and people look up to the leaders to get motivated. But then for leaders, I think for you are a leader in your particular domain, in your particular industry. So what is your source of motivation? Like who do you look up to for your motivation when you're down or when you need someone?
I feel that for me, motivation is various things. I could get motivated by a good book that I read. I could get motivated, when by just practicing singing, doing my riyas, or I could get motivated by someone else's life. There is no particular one thing. I feel that there is so many things that's happening. For example, recently, just before the lockdown happened, I came across on social media this person called Afroz Shah, who is an environmentalist, and he is the one who is responsible for cleaning up the Versova beach. And I thought that his entire journey was so motivating that I started going every Saturday to clean up the beach, collect the plastic, and then going house to house with him in the slums, where we would talk to people about how you can reduce the consumption of plastic. Instead of buying a sachet of shampoo, how you can buy a bottle of shampoo, how you can avoid buying biscuits which are packed in plastic and instead go to the bakery. And for me, this exercise of working on environment was also learning, so that now in my own house I try and reduce the use of plastic as much as possible. If I use, suppose, a can of oil which is bought, and after it's over, I don't just throw it. I make it into a planter and plant trees in it. So, I feel one finds motivation, like even for my films, I found motivation in different real life stories. Most of my films are based on real life stories. So I feel that if you are not a narcissist and you look around and you listen to people, you will find such fascinating stories all the time to inspire you and feel that you're lucky. You're lucky, and there is so much you can do to make others feel better in their lives.
Thank you. So maybe we can take one question from the online students also, so that they do not feel that we are not actually listening to them. There's Ria and Zuhaib. Maybe we can start with Zuhaib. Zuhaib, you have raised the hand. If you can ask the question.
Yes, thank you, sir. Sir, firstly, I would like to thank you, Onir, sir, for such an inspiring talk. My question to
Thank you.
you is really simple. What do you think is the role of an artist in the betterment of a society?
I feel that there are various roles that we all have. I mean, I'm sure you're also aware, and we all talk about constantly. I feel that it's very important, yes, to entertain with your stories, or I mean, be it a painting, be it a song, be it it has that one factor. But also I feel that, like, especially as a filmmaker, every film when it tells a story has some message. When people say you make message oriented films, it's not true. Every film has some kind of a message. Some films have regressive messages and some film have progressive messages. For example, a lot of films inspire people, and you see that very often, how people suppose behave with women in country. They think that to woo a woman, you kind of eve teaser, which is shown in some films, and I think that's highly irresponsible. So filmmakers, even if you're making a comedy or romance, how you portray is your responsibility, because the society emulates, society watches, and art is powerful. If art, similarly, I mean, all forms, be it books, be it poetry, be it singing, I feel that the content of art inspires people always down the, it's always at the end of it. Today, if you look at the country also, what are we constantly referring to? We are referring to two of the biggest epics that were ever written, Mahabharata, and, learning things from that. So we have various I feel it's very, very people when they say that filmmaking or artists is just entertainment. That is not true. It is entertainment with enlightening, and I feel that it is our responsibility to use the tool that we have to make our lives better, make people smile, make people laugh, but at the end of it, make people think for a better world.
Thank you. So we can take one more question from here before we come back to online students. Yes, you need to come here and ask the question.
Hello, sir. Diksha this side, and welcome to IIM Jammu. So, sir, my question is like, I personally believe a leader is one who works with the people and is nothing without its people. So, sir, what is one such event or a lesson that you learned in respect to people you have worked with that has positive impact on your filmmaking?
For one, as a filmmaker, I always make it a point that in the credits it doesn't go like a film by Onir or an Onir film. For me, I am a director. The film belongs to all of us, everyone who has put in their effort. So, my director of photography, for me it's important that each person owns up to the film. As a director, I have a certain vision, but I feel each crew member, I'll give you a quick example to make yourself understand what I'm trying to say. Is when I was shooting my last film, Kuch Bhige Alfaz, what I told the actors is, we have decided on a color palette and what kind of clothes they wear. And once we got all the clothes, had bought all the clothes, I told my actors that, okay, when you're coming to the location to shoot, you don't carry your own clothes. 1 month before them, that I gave them the clothes that they are supposed to wear as characters. So slowly over the month, the clothes become a part of their identity, of their character. And I told them, you decide for which scene what you're going to wear. My assistants will just keep track so that the continuity is maintained. So in a way, you make the actor own the character, and I feel that that is very important. And similarly, one of the things I first tell whoever assistant who joins me first, who might be like 30 years younger to me, doesn't matter. The first thing I tell them is, please drop sir, call me Onir. So they tell me very often, they tell me, but so we respect you, and it's very, but I'm like, if you call me by my name, that doesn't so disrespect, I feel. And I learned it from the first filmmaker I worked with. Her name was Sai Paranjpe, very renowned director at that point. And the first day she came to, when I was editing, she says, Onir, drop this, ma'am. We are equals, and that's how we can contribute in each other's work. And I feel the minute you drop the sir, my assistants are much more open to speak to me about their mind, what they feel about what we're doing. And in that way, I'm open to more ideas coming into me.
Uh, Thank you very much. We can take one more question from online again before we move again to the questions from students here. Ria, can you please ask your question?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I believe that artists are highly sensitive and are really connected to their emotions. And as our theme is conquering the crisis, so I would like to ask you that there have been some moments where you have been angry on some movie or on some negative connotation getting attached to the film industry. So what sets you apart on dealing with such situations? Like, do you actually avoid such situations or rebel against that? And what do you suggest to us for the same?
It really depends on, like today being a part of the film industry and I'm kind of an activist too. I speak up for various causes, and I feel that it's a choice that one makes. Like, so we face a lot of online trolls, and for me, sometimes I check, okay, this person trolling me has 2 followers and no face, no name, so it's obviously a fake troll machine. So I either ignore or block. And there are people who I realize, okay, maybe if I have a conversation, I can change the way they think. So I make an attempt at times to have a conversation, and then for me, things that matter to me, I will not be silent about it, and I will not be afraid to speak about it. But at the same time, if I realize the person I'm having a conversation with does not have, like, I might not agree with someone's political thought or whatever, but I always come from the belief that that person has the right to have a different thought from me. That person has the right to have totally the opposite, because that is what is democracy, to have different kinds of thought process. But the minute anyone gets into abuses, that's not an okay for me. So, I would always block that person or report that person, because but not keep silent. I think silence for what is wrong is not nice. It's weakness, and it is in a way participating in what is wrong.
Thank you. So we can take one question here from the students who are offline, so that before we move back to the online students, we have Badal who wants to ask question.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, in the movie IIM, characters were revolving around the sensitive topics such as child sexual abuse and gay rights. So back when these issues were very really sensitive to talk about, you made a movie about them. So what gave you the courage to make a movie which was ahead of its time in our country? And what is the suggestions for our society from your side?
I feel that, for me, I was making a film about things that really matter to me. And if you are, I've been always out and proud about myself. So if I cannot talk about my own self, then I don't deserve to make films about anybody else. That's what I always thought. And I always wanted to be able to, in some way or the other, whatever I make, to talk about things that touched me personally, And I feel that, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about me, but things that move me. And I feel that, I think maybe a bit of it I inherited from my parents. They've always been people who spoke up for what they thought is correct, and that is a part of my being, that I want to tell these stories and find ways how to tell these stories, and at the end of it, despite it was not easy. For example, I did not get funding from the traditional finance sources, so I funded IIM through Facebook and social media, where I put up posts telling people I want to make this film, and if you believe in it, you can send me money. So there were more than 400 people from 53 countries all over the world who sent me funds or worked as volunteers for the film and how that film is made. So I feel that, when you believe in something deeply, and when you respect your belief yourself, then you will not be shy of telling that story. If you're doing something wrong, then you need to hide. If you're doing something, but if you are doing something that you believe is right, then there is nothing to fear. So you just find a way to do it.
Right. Thank you. So we can take one question online. Manas, if you can switch on your mic and ask the question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, during the filmmaking process, there would have been situations where there would be difference of opinion or personal kind of conflicting situation. Like there would have been a situation where you need to change or make modification on the script or the vision that with which you started. So my question is that how do you handle such kind of situations so that the vision also preserves?
Actually, being a writer myself and having worked in various departments, it's kind of sometimes not really so difficult. I remember when I was shooting my brother Nikhil, and there was a sequence where my actor had to swim in this place, which is kind of the river in Goa, where the currents were really strong. So there was this 1 hour span between which you could shoot. And the first day, one of my other actors who was necessary for the scene, she came late for the scene, so we could not shoot it in time. And I told her, listen, please make sure that tomorrow you come on time. Otherwise, it's difficult because we don't have the location after that. And the next day, we were all set for the shoot, and again, she was not coming on time. So, being a writer, I quickly rewrote the scene in 5 minutes where I could have the scene without her. And we started shooting, and she came after another 10 minutes and was very apologetic. But I told her that, listen, I could not have delayed and taken this chance again. So I hope from the next day you always come on time, because otherwise I'll do the scene without you. So I feel that you have to be, as a filmmaker, very, very alert constantly, open to changes which sometimes you can do yourselves, and also open to changes that your actors or your technicians suggest to you, because sometimes they have if you're closed, you miss out on a good suggestion that your actors have. So I like, for me it is, if someone has a different suggestion, either I convince them or they convince me, so it is not a closed space.
Thank you. We have someone here again. We've been doing that transition from online to offline. We have one more offline student who wants to ask the question. Although there are so many curious students, I don't know how many of questions we can take further, but we'll try to accommodate as many as possible.
Good morning, sir. First
Good
of all,
morning.
we feel honored to have you here with us. So
Thank you.
my question is that in every industry, even in film industry also, we face a lot of competition, and sometimes that stress takes over us. So how can we get better with time? So being, how can you, which situation have you been into where you felt that, okay, I have to do something better to, be in the race? And what could be your guidance to us as future leaders and managers that we could take so that we can get better with time and do not take stress over little things?
One is, I'm not in a race. My only quest is my inner journey as an artist, to keep becoming better as an artist for myself. Keep discovering. I feel that through my films, through the stories I tell, I discover more about life, more about myself, and that learning. I always think I have one life, and what is important for me is the learning that I get. I am not here. I don't define, and I think that's very important for everyone, not to define your success or failure in relation to someone else. Your journey is your own unique journey, and that's why it's important to find what is special about you, to nurture that special thing about you, and to value it, and to have one's. So I feel that. Living in an industry which is seen as this glamour space, very often people are forced into living lives and appearances that is not them. For example, if I had to travel from, I live in the suburbs of Bombay, and if I have to go to this South Bombay, it would, if I would go by road, by car, it would take me at least about 1.5 to 2 hours. And if I have a meeting, then I would rather just quickly take the metro and the train and reach there in 45 minutes. So for me, and there are people who have recognized me and told that, oh, how come you're traveling by train? And I'm like, but this is faster. I value my time more, and I don't really give a damn about what people feel. So it's all again about what goals you set for your life. A lot of people tell me that, Onir, you live in a rented apartment. And I'm like, yeah, but my happiness, my goal in life is not possessing a flat in Bombay, but traveling the world and making my films. So I've produced my films, I've done what I want to, and I've traveled world over and made friends world over, and that is more precious. So I think it's important not to get affected by other people's opinion about you, and that's about everything, be it the person you are, the job you do, the clothes you wear, the color of your skin, everything. Do not define yourself by how other people see it. Learn to look at yourself with kindness and love, and you'll always find things to feel good about.
Thank you. Maybe we can take one last question. That too online. Soumya is there. Soumya, if you can switch on your mic and ask the question.
Sure, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, thank you for the inspirational conversation, sir. Very often people experience failure before they succeed, and it is this lesson which motivates them to actually do better. So I wanted to ask if there is any such instance that you can share with us which has imparted a valuable lesson in your life and has inspired you deeply.
If I try and look, I will always think that, we are three siblings. My brother, who is the dean of TIFR right now, is one of the leading scientists of the country. My sister, she is also a national award-winning editor. And when we were growing up, both of them used to be like really, really good in studies. And I somehow had this thing that I will go for exams, and whatever didn't interest me, like chemistry didn't interest me, maths didn't interest me, I would just answer questions worth 40 marks and just pass in those. And I would be always kind of faced with the situations where in my childhood I've been made to feel like a failure for various reasons. I was never first in class. I was quite, except for literature, I was terrible in everything. Similarly, in family gatherings, wherever, there used to be always this thing that, oh, your sister and brother is fair, but what about you? You are dark, and what happened to you? And all. So for the longest time, I had to encounter what is termed as failure. What is and how you start looking at yourself. So, it of course affected my confidence. It will be a lie to say that, oh no, nothing mattered. But when I started, and I think my way of empowering myself is starting to say no to things that I didn't enjoy doing, choosing the career I want. And I remember when I first went to Berlin to study, and like I mentioned before, I had got a scholarship, and again at the course in Germany, I was one of the best students in the institute I was studying. But the other thing that I realized that happened and made me feel again a different kind of way was suddenly in a different country, everyone was looking at me saying, oh my God, you have such beautiful skin, we love this color. So suddenly in a different continent, the way people look at you suddenly changes. And I realized, I think, at that point, that don't start bloating because some people here suddenly find you beautiful. Just like don't get destroyed if someone else does not recognize the beauty in you. So I feel that failure teaches you to understand that actually there is nothing called failure. It is just a journey of life, and we have I think the term failure is very unkind. We have all our hurdles. Sometimes we stumble, fall, get hurt a little, but we all keep walking, and to keep walking and discovering what new roads we can take, what beautiful sights we can see, is what makes life precious.
Thank you. I wish I could allow this to continue for longer. We have so many curious students here who want to ask questions and who have enjoyed this session. I'll take just one last question from offline students. Otherwise, I'll have to answer them a lot, saying that you didn't give us a chance because they've been persisting on that. But before we take that question, I would certainly, I have to apologize to my students for not taking their questions. I will request you that you spare some time, come to our campus. We now have two campuses. We have a off campus in Srinagar also. where we recently started and operationalized it. So please, this is an open invitation from us. Please spare some time for our students. Come here and have that interaction continue rather than stop here.
Sure, I would love to do that.
Thank you very much. So I'll take one more question because our speakers, other set of speakers are already here who have joined us. Maybe one question from offline. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Onir.
Good morning.
First of all, thank you very much for having accepted the invitation. I'm Nadeem, and my question is actually specific to your industry. But what I wish to have from you is an answer that is specific as well as universally applicable. See, there are industries that operate in different domains. Some may be production oriented, some may be labor intensive, some may be, technology intensive. In your industry, what sets you apart as a leader? Is it that you need to be, from a production perspective, do you need to be a cost leader? Do you need to be someone who knows how to manage the manpower well? Or is it something else that applies in your industry specifically? And what will be your last message for all of the students sitting here? A message that universally applies in terms of academic excellence as well. What is the relevance of academic excellence in your industry, or is there something else that people should look towards for being a leader in this film industry?
I feel that as an industry, it's a mix of everything. It is labor intensive because when we are shooting, there are hundreds of people, and that's why it's very often told that a filmmaker is a people manager. It is very important how he motivates people, the entire team, the cast to work towards a vision. At the same time, at the core of filmmaking, and I feel, and it applies to other industries too, is the idea. Is the idea that you have to make a film. So I think what makes you also find your own space, identity, is a unique idea. Today, if you look at startups, anything, any industry, what suddenly makes one, differentiates one from the others, and also how you make your what is unique about you is that when you present to the world that whole idea that is unique, that is different, that can be inspiring to people. And to realize that idea, you need a set of people who you need to inspire to work with you. And along with that, of course, you need to inspire other people to finance that idea. So I feel they're kind of all linked together. And you need to be able to work on all these different aspects and find what are the links to be able to realize that. What would be my message to everybody? I just feel that uh, the only message that I have is the life that I've lived in is to keep searching for what is it that inspires you the most. I just tell people, don't live other people's lives. Don't live what your parents want you to become what you want to become. That is the most important thing. And the minute you start doing what you enjoy the most, it will flower, it will show results. There is no way. I feel nature is kind if you can discover the nature in you. So thank you, all of you, for having me over and listening to me.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering all our questions so patiently. So, on behalf of IIM Jammu, I would like to thank Mr. Onir for such an inspiring and interactive session. Mr. Onir is an example of courage for us with his exceptional movies. With this session, we can say that a leader is also an artist who has the power to influence people to bring out their best. Thank you, sir, for
Thank you.
such an amazing session.
Thank you. Stay safe and stay inclusive, all of you. Bye bye.
All right. Again, good morning, everyone. We have our next wonderful set of speakers here already. And I apologize on behalf of IIM Jammu for them to make a bit, make them wait a bit. This since this no when we open this for the interactive session, students do not stop and we cannot stop students. So we apologize for that, and we have a next session. Over to you, Diksha, to start the proceedings for the next session.
Good morning to all present here for the Leadership Summit 2.0. Carrying the event forward, now I would like to introduce our guest for the panel discussion on the sub-theme Alchemy of Leadership, Art as a Source and Inspiration. Our first guest is Dr. Jaspinder Narula. She is an Indian singer of playback classical and Sufi music. She is known for her work in Hindi and Punjabi cinema. Ma'am started singing from 1974 and got fame and numerous awards for unforgettable song Pyar To Hona Hi Tha. In 2008, she won a title of India's Best Live Performer in the NDTV Imagine singing reality series Dhoom Macha De. Not only this, she is a PhD scholar in Hindustani classical music from Delhi University. She outshines singing folk and devotional songs. She has recorded numerous songs for many successful Bollywood movies like Dulhe Raja, Virasat, Mission Kashmir, Mohabbate, and Banti or Bubbly, to name a few. We welcome you, ma'am. Moving forward, we would like to introduce our next guest, who is Mr. Rohit Bal. He needs no introduction when we talk about the Indian fashion industry. He is the most successful and respected fashion designer we have in India. Time magazine has given him the title of India's Master of Fabric and Fantasy. His work is the testimony of the same. He is known for his use of lotus and peacock motifs. Sir has did his graduation from St. Stephen's College in New Delhi. The designer learned his craft at the National Institute of Fashion. He was awarded Designer of the Year at the International Fashion Awards in 2001 and 2004, and the Indian Fashion Awards in 2006. In February 2012, he was named Grand Finale Designer at Lakme Fashion Week. Sir has a deep understanding of the psyche of fashion, and it reflects in his collection, wholly innovative yet always relevant and inspiring. We welcome you, sir. Now, our next guest is Mr. Deepak Badhwar. Deepak Badhwar is not just a name, but a brand in itself, of high quality, luxurious masterpiece proudly made in India. Be it the revival of Pashmina carpets that were last produced over a century ago, or a fading art like Kangra and Basholi miniature paintings. His work not just only focused on revival, but innovation while retaining traditional techniques of creation. The work he has done is awe-inspiring, and one of his carpets has been even gifted to Prince Charles. Not only this, he is the first Indian to weave zari in Kani. Deepak sir beautifully brings the magic of Kashmir alive in his work. Now, without further ado, I would like to hand over the panel discussion to Deepak Badhwar, sir, to moderate the discussion on the sub-theme that I introduced earlier, the alchemy of leadership, art as a source and inspiration. Over to you, sir. Sir, you are on mute.
Namaskar, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank IIM Jammu for giving me the privilege to speak on this illustrious panel. then I would like to thank Mr. Nadeem Zargar for facilitating an invitation for me over here. Thank you very much, Nadeem ji. Thank you very much, IIM. The topic is very interesting, leadership with art. Leadership is something when you are passionate about something, as Onir said, you have to have the passion and the desire for what you love. The moment you have that passion and desire, you are already setting new milestones. And with that, you become a pioneer and it becomes a leadership. I would like to ask Jasprit ji and Rohit ji, if he's there, do they agree with that or not? Jaspinder ji?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Uh,
Good morning, Jaspinder ji.
Namaskar. Good morning.
Namaskar.
I'm sorry. There is something wrong with the video. We're not able to connect, but I think you can hear me, right?
Yeah. So I would like to just repeat very briefly what I said, that art as a source and inspiration for our leadership. I mean, I believe leadership is when you follow your passion, when you break the mold. Already you are on the path of leadership. It's not something that you aspire to be. I don't want to be a leader, but the moment I do something which I'm passionate about and I forge ahead and it is out of the ordinary, it makes me a leader. And that's true for all of us, whether we are in the panel or we are students or we are still learning or we have achieved what we want in life.
Gee, it's quite a difficult topic because I was thinking about it yesterday when I was told that we're going to talk about it. But yes, see, I was born and very early age I started music, and it was inborn, you know. I was born with it because my mom, dad both were in music.
Wonderful.
So, but at that age where I was a very little kid, dad, mom definitely decided, because when they saw the confidence in me and they saw the talent, and that's the day when I started learning and everything. But eventually, as I started to earn and see the popularity that I was gaining and the kind of the performances that I was doing, and every time there was an applause, like people were loving me, and I was so little. It really inspired me. It just, जैसे कहते हैं ना कि कुछ और करने का something new than in life, and I wanted to do something different. And luckily my dad he was a legend music director and he was doing so much. He knew the talent that I was born with, so he made me sing different kind of things, and I wanted to experiment everything that was, every genre of Indian music. Not only Indian music, but I also sang a lot of Western music on my own. That was my choice, by choice, and I did it on my own. And dad was surprised to see me the way I was, experimenting new things on myself. So this actually, of course, I will not take the whole credit for it, because God has been very kind that I was born with the talent. I was born with the confidence I had. But yes, you have to also build it up, and sometimes you're inspired by people and you have to inspire a lot of people. And so I knew that what I was doing, a lot of people are going to follow me, and they started following me at a very early age that I was, and somehow but I don't know how to say it, how to put it, कि किस तरह से art जो है वो leadership में, as you said, of course the confidence होता है तो leadership आ ही जाती है. So leadership, leadership आ ही जाती है.
So,
And
Jaspinder
I
ji,
have seen,
sorry
जी,
to interrupt you for a
जी,
second. That's exactly what I meant. What our Indian philosophy calls sanskar. You were
जी,
born in a family where you could be nurtured,
yes,
where you got the opportunity. Let's say you were born not here, but somewhere else in the world,
जी,
or in another totally different environment. Maybe you may not have been able to reach what you have reached here today. But
absolutely,
having said that, it
जी,
is your hard work, your passion, your
yes,
dedication, your
it,
love, not waiting for
yeah,
any reward, doing it for the sake of doing, for
yes,
the love of doing. It's
yes,
like a koel sings not because it expects
जी,
appreciation.
जी,
It
जी,
sings because it has to sing. You
yes.
sing because you want to sing. You sing because it brings you joy. With the result, you have become a leader because you are doing so many different genres.
Thank you for putting it this way. Sometimes I don't want to blow my trumpet and say, take the credit for, of course I did a lot of hard work. Of
Naturally,
course,
काम के बिना तो
the
कुछ होता ही
passion
नहीं
was
है ना.
there. Yes. और आपको मैं ये भी बताऊं कि जब भी कोई बुकिंग होती थी, मुझे कभी पता ही नहीं होता था कि कौन से शो की क्या क्या पेमेंट आ रही है, क्या हो
Right.
रहा है. I never till today मुझे नहीं मालूम होता है. Dad used to take care, then my
Yeah.
brother was there to take care. So
Yeah.
मैं कभी भी मुझे ये नहीं होता था कि क्या आया है क्या नहीं आया है, but मैं अपना काम करके निकल जाती थी. So this is what my,
Absolutely.
and you
That is
thank
the
you so
passion.
much for actually, yeah,
That's
for
what I said. A koel sings because it has to, because
yes,
it
yes.
wants to, because its nature is like that.
But
So
today
you
today
sing
I feel
unabashedly.
I'm very lucky that people are following me. They
Yes.
are they're I have brought new trends. गाने में मैंने बहुत तरह की अलग अलग चीजें की. जैसे प्यार तो होना ही था was a different kind of genre which I
बिल्कुल.
sang, and it became such a big hit. And
Absolutely.
before that I did so much Punjabi folk. After that I did so much of Western. I did so much of Gurbani,
हाँ जी.
and and Sufi, so much of
Yes.
Sufi. आज मैं Sufi जितना गा रही हूँ, people don't even, sorry for being very blunt, people don't
Yes.
even know what Sufi means,
I agree with you totally over there. The
जी
real Sufi is very different from what we know as Sufi.
जी जी जी. सो इसलिए मैं बहुत सारी चीजें अपनी इंटरव्यूज में बताती हूँ लोगों को, एंड दे आर फॉलोइंग मी whether they say it or they don't say it, but I know when they quote the words, they take the quotations out of my speeches or whatever,
Absolutely.
and then they are quoting it, they are saying it, and I know that they are following me, and a lot of people come and tell me ki Jaspinder ji, we look up to you and we follow you and all that, and this is what I think
Leadership
leadership
is all
is.
about. Yes.
So,
Thank you, Jaspinder ji. Thank you very much. Is
thank
Onir
you.
online?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is Onir online? I don't think Onir ji is here. I would have liked to put the same question to him. Divya, is Onir online? Okay, I don't know. I would like to speak a little bit, and then I will request Jaspinder ji again to come back to her. We are blessed to be in India, where tradition and art is a way of life. And the diversity that is there in each region is incomparable to any other country of the world. And in the contemporary way of life, traditional art gives a feeling of roots and identity, which is, I think, very important for us to feel at home and grounded. I mean, one can migrate to any other country, but when you carry a piece of your tradition with you, you are grounded, you have an identity. Do you agree with that, Jaspinder ji? Whatever you may have sung in Western music,
Ji.
but your Indian music, your
Ji.
Punjabi folk, you're listening to Surinder Kaur and Asa Singh Mastana, and then bringing your own style into
Yes.
folk which is timeless.
Ji.
With
Not
that
only them,
roots,
I have been listening to them since I was a child because my dad did so much of music for them. La Kali Teri Gutte Paranda Tera
वाह
Lalni is my
क्या
dad's
चीज
music.
था
So,
excellent
and all those songs that dad has done, I have been listening since I was a child. But after
absolutely
that, I heard Yamla Jatji, Narinder Bibaji, Kuldeep Manak.
yeah and yet you have your own distinctive
जी,
style
of course, of course.
that's the
आपकी अपनी पहचान तभी बन पाती है जब आप अपनी पहचान को बनाते हो. Your
absolutely
voice modulation, everything with your riyaz, with your
absolutely
experience.
your hard work so that's what I'm saying we and being Indian are first of all blessed that there are so many diverse art forms whether they are in performing arts or in musical arts or in art forms like paintings crafts whatever you want matlab you step from one state to the other and you will be boggled by the diversity. Nowhere in the world I've had a chance to travel extensively in many countries. I have never seen what we have. Never.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, we have Rohit Bal sir with us. You can pose your questions with him. Oni sir is.
Rohit ji, welcome, welcome. Thank you
थैंक
for
यू थैंक यू
joining
थैंक यू
us.
दीपक जी थैंक यू मगर मैं आपको देख नहीं पा रहा हूँ.
मैं भी नहीं किसी को देख पा रहा. I don't know this.
पहले तो आप दिख रहे थे अब तो बिल्कुल ही गुम गए हो.
I am always invisible, Rohit ji. You know I don't like to be in the limelight. Today they are insisting on putting me in the limelight.
मगर मुझे देखना है आपको.
मुझे आपको देखना है. I can't see Rohit Bal. मुझे जसपिंदर जी भी नहीं नजर आ रहे.
नहीं आप तो मुझे नजर आ रहे थे.
अब तो मैं
क्या कर दिया आपने पर्दा.
मैं खुद को देख सकता हूँ ना. अब देखो हमें इन्होंने पर्दे में डाल दिया है.
गलत बात है. मुझे आपको देखना है.
जी जी मैं भी वेट कर रहा हूँ. आई थिंक दे आर एडजस्टिंग so
आप
that
adjust करें जैसे हमारे
I think still it's on. We're still trying to figure it out. How can we see each other?
Yes.
We can hear, we can see each other. I can see you, Deepak ji. I can see you.
I cannot see you.
I can hear Rohit's voice, but I can't see him.
सब कुछ adjust होता है.
हमारे यहाँ तो ये हमें पर्दे में रखा हुआ है.
ये नहीं होगा फिर. ऐसे मजा नहीं आएगा.
बिल्कुल नहीं. But Rohit ji, first of all, thank you very much for joining us. So you need no introduction. I mean, the world knows who Rohit Bal is. But I would like to. They have put a very strange topic: leadership. I said leadership. सोच के कोई लीडर नहीं बनता. जो अपने पैशन से काम करता है वो खुद ब खुद लीडर बन जाता है. There is no second Rohit Bal in the world because what Rohit Bal has done, is doing, is unparalleled. And the beauty of Rohit Bal designs is that each time since the last 25, 27 years, he always comes up with a new thing. मैं कहता हूँ ये दिमाग है कि एक
33 years हो गए.
33 years और is it माइनिंग की खान है जिसका खजाना कभी खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा.
देखिए दीपक जी सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको एक चीज बता. आपको मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
अब आ रही है.
मैं आपको सबसे एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज बता दूं कि पूरी दुनिया में तो खैर नहीं, इंडिया में सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है आजकल. हेलो
हेलो.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही मुझे.
आई कैन हियर यू. बीच में आप थोड़ा सा वैनिश कर जाते हैं. अब आ गए हैं फिर से.
नहीं अब मैं ठीक हूँ.
हेलो सर.
मैं हूँ.
हाँ. I can hear you. I can hear Jaspinder.
आप हूँ.
Hello Deepak sir.
हाँ जी.
If you can stop presenting.
If I can stop my camera.
Jaspinder ma'am is presenting. If she can stop presenting.
Okay. Rohit ji, I think they are annoyed with us. They want us to keep quiet for some time. IIM Jammu is
Hello,
IIM
sir.
Jammu is saying that Deepak Badhwar talks too much. They want us to be
Shush.
quiet for some time.
Shush, shush. धीरे धीरे बोलो जी shush.
I think the technical team is doing.
Hello, sir.
Anji,
Sir, can you all switch on your camera if that's possible for you all?
of course.
Thank you so much, sir.
Is it on now?
Yes, sir. We can see Deepak, sir.
I can only see two people, two girls on the Institute of Management. Is it one of you who's talking?
Yes, sir. So I can see Deepak, sir, on the screen. If
Okay.
the other guests can also share their.
कौन सा वाला
Rohit ji,
दबाने
please
से
switch on your
दिखता है?
camera.
कौन सा वाला दबाने से दबता है ये दिखता है?
Turn camera on.
टर्न कैमरा ऑन. ओके ऑन. मेरा कैमरा तो ऑन ही है.
नहीं, आपका ऑन नहीं होगा.
हाँ, ये देखो ऑन है. मैं दिख रहा हूँ मुझे अपने आप को.
अच्छा. Why can't I see? Are you on a laptop?
No, I'm on my mobile.
Oh. Okay. अच्छा. I thought you were on your laptop. Just tell someone in the house के आपका camera.
मेरा लैपटॉप ऑफिस गया हुआ है दीपक जी.
Okay. Now I can see Soumya Srivastava.
Sir, there seems to be some technical difficulty. There is a camera icon on your screen. Please turn it on so we can see you. And since Ms. Narula ma'am was sharing her screen, we were unable to see your faces. So we asked her to stop presenting her screen. And Ms. Narula ma'am, I request you to please turn on your camera so that we can have an interactive session with you as well.
मेरा कैमरा तो ऑन है.
आपका ऑन है रोहित जी?
हाँ, मतलब मेरे को अपनी शक्ल दिख रही है.
पर उसमें ऑन आ रहा है?
हाँ, पूरे स्क्रीन में मैं आ रहा हूँ.
मैं तो टेक्निकली चैलेंज्ड हूँ, तो आई रिक्वेस्टेड समवन, नेमली माय सन, टू फिक्स अप एवरीथिंग बिकॉज़ आई वुडंट नो ऑन फ्रॉम ऑफ इन माय स्क्रीन.
लाइव भी ऑन कर दिया मैंने. लाइव भी ऑन कर दिया.
Just switch off your camera and switch it on again. Maybe that will help.
मैंने स्विच ऑफ कर दिया. बट ये स्विच ऑफ नहीं किया मैंने एक्चुअली. ये ना वो है. एक मिनट ठहरो. ये मेरा फिर से कैमरा आ गया. अब मैं इसको ट्रैश कर रहा हूँ.
ऑफ कर दो.
फोटो के बाद बोल रहा है. नहीं, ये कैमरा ऑफ नहीं होगा सर जी. एक मिनट.
क्यों? ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है?
एक मिनट. Actually, there's so many functions on these phones now.
These are like
नया फोन खरीदा है जिसमें तो समझ नहीं आती क्या होता है.
That is what happens when you get into too much of technology. I'm so still with my pyramid. Is there anyone around who knows it?
अभी
Lalit is there. Maybe he can.
मैं ढूंढता हूँ. गया था वो तो नहीं. वो तो अपने वहाँ पे गया हुआ है एक्टिंग क्लास में.
अच्छा.
मैं देखता हूँ. यहाँ पे तो और कोई है ही नहीं. मैं यहीं पे हूँ. नहीं तो ये कोई मैं आईपैड से करूं.
हाँ, आईपैड से कर लो.
फिर आपको कनेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. आईपैड इज नॉट कनेक्टेड टू द इंटरनेट.
अच्छा, it's not connected to the internet.
I mean it's connected, but I mean I don't know how to do it properly.
Try it.
वो नहीं है यहाँ पे.
अच्छा.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can you see my phone? Like,
क्या बोल रहे हो? My phone.
Can you see my phone?
I can only see my house. And me.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, someone from our team would be sharing the screen and explaining you how to switch on the camera. If that helps.
The camera's on. But I can only see me.
You can't see any one of us.
I can only see me. I can either see me or I can see where I am.
Oh. Sir, your camera is turned off. There's this camera icon next to leave button, sir. There's mic and camera. I think you're presenting your screen. And this is why we are unable to see you.
1 minute. I've pressed camera. Now.
Yeah, no, sir. Just towards the left, there's this camera icon that has been crossed.
No. In my main page, in my main home page, what should I press?
So when you open the Teams window, there's this red colored leave button, and towards the left, yeah.
Soumya, since we can hear all our speakers, so can we continue with the discussion? Because I think there is some technical glitch, but we can, since they are audible to all of us, we can continue with the discussion.
Sure, sure.
If the speakers are fine with that.
If it's okay for Rohit ji, I'm okay with it.
तो मेरा सुंदर चेहरा किसी को नहीं दिखेगा?
हम आपकी फोटो देख के आपको इमेजिन करेंगे dressed up so royally that you look like a prince or Maharaj.
You know exactly what I look like.
Yes, I do, but look at your beautiful portrait on the screen.
अच्छा पूछिए, सवाल पूछिए, जवाब देते
So I was talking about you being a leader without wanting to be a leader. You become a leader because you have worked on your passion. As Jaspinder ji was also saying, she never thought she'll be a leader once she starts singing. Rohit Bal did not think he'll become a leader once he starts creating. But today, I mean, in the world of fashion, forget fashion, your clothes, impeccable, the finish, the source and inspiration of our arts that you have taken to a new height. You have made it contemporary. And how suddenly the neglected artisans are finding meaning with others because Rohit Bal has done it. Whether it is shibori, or it is dabka, or it is tie and dye, or embroidery, you name it and you have done it.
Can you see, can you hear me now?
Yes, Jaspinder ji, I can see you and hear you.
कितना जरूरी है ना?
हाँ, बिल्कुल. जैसा मैं सब पैनल को बता रहा था, you sang because the koel sings.
No.
He creates, Rohit ji creates because he is creative. And then, like Sanskars, I said, he was encouraged by his family to create. Can you imagine parents who are forceful?
How he creates in his work, similarly we create in our voice, through our throat, through our voice.
Absolutely. And the idea, which is art as a source and inspiration for leadership, I don't think anyone here from us people ever thought of in terms of leadership. I've never imagined that I'm supposed to be a leader. I just do what I have to do. It is just for the love of it. So, Rohit ji, of course, has done. I would like to speak a little bit about my work in case people don't think that I'm being very arrogant about it. So, objects which were the exclusive possession of royalty are now made available to many. I mean, pure zari and things like that, only the royalty could buy it earlier. Today, many of us who are blessed with little wealth have the luxury of being able to use such products. What do you have to say, Jaspinder ji?
आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं क्या?
मैं आपसे भी पूछ रहा हूँ, जसपिंदर जी से भी पूछ रहा हूँ.
जसपिंदर जी, आप जवाब दीजिए ना. मेरे को एक चीज बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी बोलनी है.
बोलिए बोलिए.
आप कहिए.
आप पहले बोलिए, बिकॉज जो मैं बोलने वाला हूँ ना, उससे आप लोग हंस लेंगे.
नहीं, आप बहुत अच्छा बोलते हैं, आप प्लीज बोलिए.
नहीं, मगर मैं अच्छा नहीं बोलना चाहता. मैं बिल्कुल एक पागलपन की बात बोलना चाहता हूँ. पागल ही तो लीडर्स बनते हैं. आपको बता ही देता हूँ, फिर बता ही दूं आप सबको. बताइए. सबको बता दूं.
प्लीज टेल.
देखिए, ये मेरी गाड़ी है और ये मेरे लोग हैं, फ्रेंड्स हैं, और ये हमारी पार्टी हो रही है.
Oh, so you are having a party right now, which is wonderful. Which is,
wow.
I'm so happy.
This is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life, and it has become the most popular thing on the planet.
Which is?
ये हमारी party हो रही है.
Okay. Okay.
अच्छा आप पूछिए क्या पूछना था आपने?
मैं कह रहा था objects which were the exclusive possession of royalty are now available to many more people. And that is because horizons have widened. And
also talent has grown.
Talent has grown. Talent has got a chance to grow.
Absolutely. Also, we must understand, and this is a very, very important point for all of us to understand, that when the royals of India, whether it was the Mughals, whether it was pre-Mughals, we can even go back 1,000 years, 2,000 years. We can go to the Gupta dynasty. We can go to the Maurya dynasty. We're talking about 2,000 years ago. At that time, what we now look at as an object was actually a labor of love.
Absolutely.
And that labor of love cannot be brought back because at a situation like that, there was nothing known as dihadi. There was nothing known as कि हाँ तुम इतना काम करोगे तो तुम्हें इतना पैसा मिलेगा. तुम दिन में 18 घंटे काम करोगे तो तुम्हें उतना पैसा मिलेगा या तुम्हें इतना उसका ये मिलेगा. But those were the days of the generosities of the kingdoms. And the kingdoms and their prosperity were beyond a level of generosity because their treasures were full. Their coffers were full. So it did not matter to them whether they took 2 coins of gold, 2 gold coins or 18 gold coins to give to a very, very poor laborer. So the laborer would put those extra days in making either a fine carpet or would do the most incredibly inlaid pietra dura की कोई लकड़ी पर या मार्बल पर कोई टेबल या फ्लोरिंग कर लेगा या वो ठेकरी का काम कर लेगा या वो पेंटिंग करेगा वॉल्स पर या वो वीविंग करेगा. Most important thing being weaving of textiles. Now those guys were not working under pressure of money. They were generally working under pressure of love. If there is a thing known as pressure of love, then we are the country that is responsible for it.
Yes, but Rohitji, that's what I'll say. That's where people like you come in, who nurture such people who are still able to create. Now, in your house, the work you have got done, you have been very generous in getting that work done. That is why you have got work done which is comparable to any old artwork or the work that's done on your clothes. That's also comparable to any fine embroideries or velvets which were done 300 years ago.
Yes, I agree. Deepak ji, you know, it's a very age-old saying, and I will say it again and again. And by the grace of God, maybe I should be able to say it till the day I am no more. That the thing of beauty is a joy
forever. Absolutely.
And that thing of beauty could be a simple muslin skirt.
Yes.
Or it could be the most exquisitely embroidered. चाहे उसमें आप जरदोजी इस्तेमाल करें, चाहे उसमें सूसनी आप इस्तेमाल करें, चाहे क्रिस्टल लगाएं, चाहे हीरे लगाएं, चाहे जवाहरात.
Absolutely.
जो एक चीज सुंदर होती है ना, वो सुंदर ही होती है. One more thing I want to say that there is definitely, and over the last 33 years that I've been doing this work and not just doing clothes, I do a lot of other things that involve aesthetics.
Absolutely.
I have come to realize that there is definitely a universal acceptance of beauty.
Absolutely.
A universal acceptance of beauty का मतलब कि there are a few things that can never be ugly.
I am in 100% agreement with you. And I'm sure Jaspinder ji also feels the same.
जो खूबसूरत चीज है वो खूबसूरत चीज है. आप चीजों को छोड़ें, आप चेहरों को देखें. Throughout history, चाहे वो महारानी गायत्री देवी हो, चाहे वो माधुरी दीक्षित हो, या जो भी है, उनकी जो सुंदरता होती है वो दुनिया भर में एक्सेप्ट की जाती है कि हाँ भाई ये बहुत ज्यादा सुंदर है, क्योंकि एक तरह से भगवान ने, ईश्वर ने, अल्लाह ने एक चीज बनाई है, अपने हाथों से तराशी है, और वो सुंदरता जो है वो कभी भी you cannot disregard that beauty.
No, and I would like to take it to another level, whether it is physical beauty, or it is beauty of arts, or it is beauty of music, or it is beauty of dance. I mean, our classical dances, or even the European classical dances, they are really, it's a joy forever.
I know, it's that movement, Deepak ji. It's that emotional thought that goes into while you're performing the tango, or you're doing the Bharatnatyam, or you're doing any kind of physical movement in terms of dance, or you're painting your wall. That beauty will always be there.
Absolutely.
And if that beauty is not there, no matter what you do, I've seen a lot of people these days making hideous things, ugly things, just because they think, हाँ इतनी bizarre है, इतनी मतलब पागल है कि सब इसको पसंद करेंगे. Where are those people?
Right. See,
I can name a few people
beauties are timeless.
Who have become bankrupt because of that.
Yeah. You know? Because these beauties that are being created are timeless, and any shortcuts will never get it. Any shortcuts.
Obviously, I mean, you take the simplicity of a string of pearls.
Yeah, absolutely.
आप एक pearls की simplicity ले लो. एक simple मतलब आप एक simple इक्कत की beauty ले लो, एक simple कुछ भी, एक simple घर की beauty ले लो, कुछ भी ले लो. Beauty comes in forms that are endless, and beauty is an endless resource.
Absolutely.
And that, for me, is the most important thing.
Right. Jaspinder ji, you wanted to say something.
See, I wanted to say that beauty is created by God. We only can enhance it.
Enhance it. I agree with you. I agree.
And also for me,
whether it is music, whether it is dance, any form of art.
I think sometimes God uses humans as catalysts to create that beauty and take it forward.
Absolutely.
But I also feel that nothing on this planet or in the universe can create beauty as magnificently as nature.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
I have never seen an ugly thing that has been made by nature. Never.
मैंने भी नहीं देखी, and Rohit ji, you will scold me for it. मैंने पिछली thing भी नहीं देखी, so bad, like ugly thing. That's really bad. Sorry, I want to say a little bit about how I was influenced. So my life in Kashmir exposed me to the art forms of the valley while growing up. And what surprised me is that the local people in the valley did not use the gorgeous pieces they were creating. It was always to sell and all. And I used to wonder why such beauty is not to be used in-house. So that's when I said, I am going to make these carpets and shawls for us to use. Not for export.
आपने जो कार्पेट्स बनाए ना, मैंने तो अब आपके अभी न्यूएस्ट 8-10 ही देखे हैं. मैं तो सच्ची बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं अगर मेरा बस चलता ना, तो मैं सारे के सारे चुरा के ले आता आपके और मतलब पहन के जाता बाहर लोगों को देखने के लिए. ये होता है कारपेट.
आप तो खुद ही क्रिएट कर सकते हो.
हाँ,
रोहित जी की कलेक्शन
क्रिएट कर सकते हो कुछ भी.
क्रिएट की बात नहीं है. जो अगर कोई बंदा दूसरा कर रहा है, जो कि मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड है, जब वो क्रिएट कर रहा है तो मैं क्यों क्रिएट करूं? Why to double it? Let there be a single point of beauty.
आपकी सोच और क्रिएटिविटी डिफरेंट होगी.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
अगर जो मैंने एक दफा देख लिया और मेरी सोच और क्रिएटिविटी उस एक 9/6 या 6/4 की एरिया में बस गई, धस गई, उलझ गई, उसका जब मेरे दिल के साथ इतना बड़ा कनेक्शन हो गया तो मैं क्यों बनाऊं अपना दूसरा? आपने देखे नहीं, आप इसलिए बोल रही हैं तुरमा जी,
बचा के रखिए।
आपने देखे नहीं आपने वो कार्पेट, इसलिए बोल रही हैं आप ऐसे।
नहीं, I can imagine what you're saying, but आपकी भी जो क्रिएटिविटी वो भी बहुत कमाल है, तो इसलिए
Absolutely.
कि आप भी बहुत क्रिएट कर सकते हैं उसको अलग कुछ
Yes.
अलग कुछ
He can give a new dimension to it. Jaspinder ji and Rohit ji, I would like to address our guests a little bit. Otherwise, everybody will say these three are just talking like good friends amongst themselves, and all the students and everybody else is being ignored. I apologize to rest of the guests. We got carried away. As I said, passion. We are all passionate people. I don't know about being leaders, but passionate. And when passion takes over, leadership follows.
Yes, absolutely. I was just about to say that passion जब आपके अंदर होता है तो वो टैलेंट होता है, वो पैशन आ जाता है और पैशन के साथ फिर आप जो हैं वो लीडर भी बन जाते हैं.
Absolutely.
So you're like icon for people, so you know it just.
Yeah. So Rohit ji, Jaspinder ji, I would like to tell the students, as they are students from Jammu and Kashmir, which is one of the richest sources of art in the country, why I would like the younger generation to revive lost arts. Now in Jammu region, the Basoli paintings are hardly being done. There's no patronage, but there are enough wealthy people in Jammu region itself who should buy such art rather than buying some other contemporary art and spending. Is it an investment? Are we only looking for investments? Are we going
art
to enjoy?
Is an investment now, Deepak ji.
Right.
Art is not art for art's sake.
That's what I said.
For investment.
So let people change that and buy it because they enjoy a Basoli painting, because it's gorgeous. Because, as you said earlier, Rohit ji, it's a labor of love. It's a labor of passion. And there are still one or two artists in the Jammu region who are doing that. And it's for the younger generation.
मैं स्पॉन्सर करता हूँ, अब उनको लाइए दिल्ली.
बिल्कुल.
मैं करता हूँ उनको स्पॉन्सरशिप. उनको बोलिए कि वो जो भी उनका आर्ट है, आपने जो भी बोला जिस तरह का भी, उनका मैं करवा देता हूँ यहाँ पे.
Wonderful, Rohit ji. I will ask the artist. We will get in touch with it.
And I would like to see their work.
Yes.
I will speak to various people, whether it's from the Habitat Center, whether it's Vijay Singh. I will speak to them. I said these are the guys who need to be promoted.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have nothing against the senior artists. I'm just saying.
No. But it is the unknown artist, Rohit ji. It's the unknown artist who does it out of love. That's what I'm talking about. Who is not looking for recognition. He paints the Ras Leela because it is the Ras Leela.
Deepak ji, I'll take a leave.
Thank you very much for your time, Jaspinder ji.
Thank you, Rohit ji.
Thank you, Jaspinder ji. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you. God bless.
I think, Rohit ji, we should also wrap up the session before we are unceremoniously thrown out. I would just like to. I know. And I'm so grateful to you for having joined this and being such an inspiration for the people who are seeing it. We can take question answers, but I would just like to make two statements before we do that. I feel that our education institutes, and like in this shape, the IIM, a pride in our heritage should be taught.
Right.
Because a lot of people do not have pride in our heritage. They feel, oh, paper mache, अरे ये तो आम बिकती है. There is आम बिकने वाली and there is paper mache like you got commission.
जो वो paper mache देखते हैं ना, वो paper mache होती नहीं है.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
ये तो problem है.
That's what I said. A feeling of pride, a feeling of belonging, a feeling of joy a feeling of nurturing, when that is taught in educational institutes right from school level, whether it's singing, dancing, other performing arts, or paintings, or carpets, or shawls, or clothes, that's when we'll come further. Thank you very much, Rohitji. I would still want you
I
to be
love you,
online.
G.
Please do not go, because I'm sure a lot of the younger generation has 101 questions for you.
अच्छा इसके बारे में मुझे पता नहीं था.
Thank you very much, all our three guests. It's been a wonderful session. I mean, bringing in people from art and uh, making them talk about leadership and other things is little difficult, but we could manage that. Thanks to all our three guests. Our students are curious to ask the questions. We can take some questions, although I mean we had had a session earlier also where Mr. Onir was there. We had so many questions, but we couldn't take all of them. Similarly, I mean because of the paucity of time, we cannot take a lot of questions, but we can take at least couple of them. What we have, the format here is that we have students who are online and we have students who are here in the campus with us. And we'll take a couple of questions from students who are with us off campus and a couple of questions from students who are online. Maybe what we can do is that we can start with question from offline and then we go to online.
ये आपकी मर्जी, आपने जो करना आप करें.
We are
Thank
at your
you.
disposal.
So we can have our first question here.
हम वेट कर रहे हैं.
First of all, thank you to all our guests. So my question is to Jaspinder ma'am. So ma'am,
I think Jaspinder ji had to leave. So, beta, it's only Rohitji and me.
So she had actually a question for Jaspinder ma'am, probably related to the music industry. Maybe we can take one question from Ria before we come from the question offline again. Ria, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for this enlightening session. And sir, as I can see that you three people have reached a milestone in your life. You have gained a certain fame and name. And as we belong to a generation where there is so much power in the hands of social media and everything that goes online, that goes viral, even the minutest mistake can be very harmful to you. So in that scenario, how do you plan to manage that crisis? And what do you suggest to us as students? If we gain a certain position in our life, how do we deal with that? How to maintain it?
Okay. Deepak ji, will you answer that question or should
Okay, I will answer it. First of all, they say fame is a double-edged sword. When you're famous, you're always in the limelight. And being always in the limelight, doing anything is picked up and exaggerated 1,000,001 times, right? So first learn to handle fame. If you can't handle fame, then your downfall is guaranteed. The main thing, and you're saying about social media, put relevant things. Have a certain, be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone else. Because the moment you are yourself, there can be no downfall. You are what you are. And you are loved and accepted for your work, for your talent, for your innovations. Rohitji, anything else you would like to add? Rohitji?
I can't hear you.
Rohitji, would you like to add something to that? I have said, first of all, fame is like a double-edged sword. So you have to be very careful when you wish for fame. And once you're famous, you be sincere to yourself. No pretense, no hypocrisy. And then nothing can harm you.
Deepak ji, I don't know who's speaking to me, but I can't hear anything.
So, where's the technical thing? Could you hear the question? I think you heard the question. Can you hear us? Hello? Hello? Rohitji, can you hear me?
I think we have probably lost. There's again another technical glitch. Probably Mr. Rohit has lost that connection. Or Mr. Rohit, can you hear us?
I think it's gone either way.
All right. Maybe we can take one more question here. We have one student who wants to ask a question before maybe we can have Mr. Rohit back.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank all our panelists who were there and enlightened us with their wonderful words and their wonderful thoughts. So, sir, my question is to both the panelists here, and it's about the fashion industry and its role in reviving the lost textile industry of our country. There was once a time where we used to be the textile factory of the world. This was before the Britishers came to India and ruined our traditional artisans and our traditional weavers. And they were replaced by the factories of Manchester. So, sir, my question to you both is that how is the role of the fashion industry in bringing back that pride that we had as the textile factory of the world? And how can we use our traditional artisans and weavers to bring that pride back to our India? So that's my question, sir.
Right. What's your name?
So my name is Inderjeet.
Inderjeet. I don't think
Can
Rohitji
everyone
could...
hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Rohitji.
Okay, fine, because I've come upstairs.
Okay. Wonderful.
I'm sorry, what were you asking me?
Inderjeet's question was that why we have lost, he's blaming the British for having, introduced cloth from Manchester, and how people are no longer using Indian textiles, and the art of weaving fine textiles is being lost in the country, and what can we do about it? I will just answer very briefly, and then I want the expert in textiles, Mr. Rohit Bal, to answer the rest of the question. First, my brief answer is, you see me wearing a kurta pajama. It is completely hand spun and hand woven and hand block printed. This kurta actually is made by Mr. Rohit Bal. And I'm wearing one of his creations, which I proudly wear whenever I have a chance, which is about every third day. And he has given me so many.
Don't spoil it.
No, but my thing is, how many of the youth out here are interested in Indian designer clothes, Indian textiles, Indian fabric? They will want to buy H&M. They will want to buy Zara. They will want to buy Giorgio Armani, Prada. Excuse me. Charity begins at home.
Gucci, Prada, Balenciaga, Gucci, Prada.
So my question is, Inderjeet Beta, to you itself, how often do you buy Indian textile?
So sadly, I like to say that the number is much less compared to the other clothes that I buy.
So once we start and not reserve it only for going for weddings and other functions, once the younger generation gets a pride in what my country is capable of, once the new generation knows what India is all about, that's when we can't keep blaming the British of what happened 300 years ago. It's been a lot of time. Let's forget blaming others. Let's take the responsibility on our shoulders. Today I see both the girls over here. They are dressed in Western clothes. Whoever came here was dressed in Western clothes. Has anyone thought of wearing a sari? I mean, we are the richest country in textiles, and none of these girls, does IIM not encourage the lady members to wear saris? I'm sorry to sound critical, but that's a fact. Nothing can be revived, forget revived, even nurtured, if you girls just feel a jacket and a shirt is what gives you your femininity. Equality, Mrs. Smriti Irani is more equal than the others. Wears a sari. Mrs. Indira Gandhi was never seen in jackets. I mean, over a sari she did in winters, but she was not wearing, jeans or even a salwar kameez. She was wearing a sari with pride. How many of you girls wear sari on a daily basis?
I think, Mr. Deepak, you'll be glad to know that this year we have decided that in our convocation also we'll have a traditional dress. So that's where we start, and I'm sure that our students are going to take a cue from there to give more importance to the traditional dress.
That's what I said. We could have blamed the British earlier. Now we are an independent nation and we have no one to blame except ourselves.
The charity starts from home. That's what we are doing. And we have, in fact, you'll also be glad to know that we have our next session also where Miss Srimati Simriti Irani is joining us. I'm sure that students will have this question for her also, that how do we promote the textile industry? And we'll get more answers from them.
By using it. How do you promote a product? By using it. More the people will produce. We don't need poor artisans. We need wealthy artisans. We need rich artisans.
Right. So we can take more questions. Maybe we have Shrutika had raised the hand. She wants to ask a question. So we take an online question.
From Rohit ji. I would like him to answer if it's in the field of textiles, please.
Shrutika, you are on mute, yeah.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. I'm really thankful for the session. First of all, sir, as we are talking about taking it forward, like I would like to know how the entertainment industry has coped up with the crisis and how we can use art basically as an inspiration, since we are all managers here, but we also do have something that we are interested in. So how we can incorporate that and how we can take it forward in the coming times.
Ma'am, the question that you have asked is neither in the realm of my field nor of Rohitji's. That you should have asked Onir or maybe Jaspinder ji about entertainment industry. Because we both are not entertainers, we are creators of fine things.
Sir, so would you like to tell me about from the textile industry, like how it has coped up with in the times of crisis specifically?
The times of crisis, which is the corona crisis, the whole world has had no choice but to cope up. And it is still happening. But you see, people are still wearing clothes. So my recommendation to all of you is buy Indian. Make in India. We have enough luxury for those who have the resources to buy luxurious clothes. Why go for a Prada when you can buy a Rohit Bal? Why go for a Hermes scarf when you can buy a pure pashmina? So how does the industry cope up? It's coping up the same way as the other industries, including the education industry. Today, half of us are online. Why? Because of corona.
So maybe we can take one last question before we close.
I would like it to be addressed to Rohit ji, please, because he has deep knowledge. And I would like any one of the students to ask something related to textiles or clothes or fashion or art forms.
Right. So we can have one more question. Please come over to the dais and ask this question.
A very good morning to one and all. And thank you for such a lively session, first of all, especially to Rohit sir for that Pari Hori Hai theme. So my question to both of you is that since I think Deepak sir, you mentioned about the kind of training programs or something needs to be done here in Jammu and Kashmir at IIM Jammu for promotion of the traditional wear and everything. So specifically, for instance, I have heard that you have promoted Pashmina, like revival of Pashmina, and then there's Rohit sir, who's been a king of fashion industry, specifically in textile. So is there any kind of training programs or something on those lines that you are thinking to bring to Jammu and Kashmir, or something that you are understanding here? Because I think in Jammu and Kashmir, we do not have a lot of exposure to these things, though it's actually rich in such textile and all this culture that we have it here. So what are your views on that? And how do you think you would be working towards this, particularly in this part of India?
Rohit ji, would you like to answer her? Rohit ji?
Mr. Rohit, you are on mute. You need to unmute yourself. Mr. Rohit, you need to unmute yourself. Please click on the unmute button, the mic button. Maybe Mr. Deepak, you can address this question till we have Mr. Rohit back.
Right. So the question of what do we propose to do to bring it to Jammu and Kashmir? I don't need to bring anything which is already there. How many people of Jammu and Kashmir are trying to buy their local stuff? How many of you have even thought of looking for Basoli paintings? How many of you here, the girls especially, have thought of buying local jewelry? The Nama, the Jhumki of Jammu, which is only found there. How many of you girls want to buy that? How many of the men want to buy pure Pashmina shawls for the winters from Jammu and Kashmir? Rohit ji is there with camera and voice.
And my gorgeous looks.
That we are never denying.
Okay. Now, the most important thing, and I'm going to say it just maybe in 4 or 5 or 6 words. All of these young boys and girls have to understand that every one of us has a choice.
Yes.
We can either buy khadi, pashmina, pure muslin, pure मतलब जो भी हमारे भारत में बनता है या तो हम वो खरीदें या तो आप जाके चाइना से इंपोर्ट करा के जापान से इंपोर्ट कराकर चीप पॉलीएस्टर ब्लेंड्स खरीदें।
बिल्कुल।
तो अगर ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि हम कैसे करें तो गलत बोल रहे हैं। इनको समझ नहीं है फिर
100% रोहित जी, I agree with you.
और इनको समझ इतनी होनी चाहिए कि जिस वजह से हमारे देश को दूसरे अन्य देशों ने कॉन्कर किया था, इन्वेड किया था, हमें स्लेव्स बनाया था, वो इस पॉलिएस्टर की वजह से था।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
और अगर आज लोग के बच्चे जो कि ये सब हैं, अगर ये हिंदुस्तानी खरीदना शुरू कर दें, we can get rid of so many problems of our country.
I agree with you.
We were the first, please understand, you young children, we were the first country to export muslin to Egypt. We were the first country in the world that made exotic brocades like Paithani. We were the first country in the world that produced the most exquisite and intricate jamdhanis and the most intricate brocades for the entire Greek world and the Roman world. तुम किस चीज की बात करते हो? वहां जाते हो, सरोजिनी नगर जाते हो, वहां पे चीप से पॉलिएस्टर कपड़े खरीदते हो। Who are you?
Yes.
आपको शर्म नहीं आती क्या? आप हमारे पूरे देश की बेइज्जती कर रहे हैं। आप खादी ग्राम उद्योग में जाएं। जब मैं खादी ग्राम उद्योग में जाता हूं, हमारे बहुत प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं वहां पे, मैं एक हिंदुस्तानी बंदे को नहीं देखता वहां पे, सारे अंग्रेज पड़े होते हैं। आप लोग जो हैं, आप लोग ज़ारा पे होते हैं, आप लोग यहाँ होते हैं, वहां होते हैं, जो इंपोर्टेड ब्रांड्स होते हैं, जाके आप जब रात को जाएं और पार्टी में पहने, ओ मैं तो ज़ारा पे जैकेट पहनी हुई है। You should be ashamed of yourself. What Indian are you? What kind of Indian are you? You are not Indian at all.
Thank you, Rohit ji. Thank you. That was a very strong, powerful, and to the point, absolutely hitting the nail on the head reply.
Thank you very much. I can even see the emotions.
Yes.
This is the way I feel.
I agree.
Or polyester. Polyester.
And anyone who says that handmade is expensive, first of all, in this institute which we are addressing, everybody comes from a better social background and they can afford it. Number one. Number two, the more people buy, more weavers will come into the field, the more reasonable it will become.
हमारे स्टोर्स में दीपक जी, तुम किसी भी स्टोर में चले जाओ, वहां पे एक भी चीज पॉलिएस्टर के साथ नहीं बनती.
Absolutely, I know that.
प्योर
I mean, everything is handmade.
प्योर सिल्क, चंदेरी हो चाहे जो भी हो. और अगर जो बोलते हैं ना कि नहीं हमको तो ना थोड़े यूनिफॉर्म्स बनाने हैं, हमको तो ये पॉलिएस्टर लगाना है, I said get out.
Wonderful, wonderful. So people ask me, do you keep semi-pashmina? I say, I'm sorry, we don't keep anything known as semi-pashmina. Either it's pashmina or it's not pashmina. And that's the end of the story.
बच्चों को तो ना धूप, मतलब इनको तो इतनी, मतलब इनको तो शर्म आनी चाहिए.
It's a lack of awareness.
हमारे भारत के जो कि 5000 साल से चल रहा है, धोती पहनकर मलमल की, बाल कटे हुए, एक जिनाऊ पहन के, जहां पे रामायण लिखी गई है, जहां पे महाभारत लिखी गई है, जहां पे दुनिया के सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट स्क्रिप्चर लिखे गए हैं.
Absolutely.
भारत में ये लोग पॉलिएस्टर पहनेंगे ताकि ज़ारा से.
Thank you very much, Rohit ji. That was really a beautifully worded, hard-hitting reality, which I hope that the youth have understood, and that they decide that seminars are not enough. Action is what it is. Action. And in smaller towns, it's very easy to find tailors. It's very easy to buy yardage. Get it stitched. You are generating so much of employment.
Thank you very much, Deepak ji. Thank you very much, Rohit ji. As I gave that open invitation a while ago to Mr. Onir, I'm giving this invitation to both of you also to please visit our campus. Please come and interact with our students. See, these are young people who need to be told that.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation. Let the corona times get over and we will certainly plan something in the future.
Do please visit our Srinagar campus also. We have now Srinagar off campus also. And
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. मैं बहुत खुशगुजार हूँ कि आपने मुझे ऐसे इन्विटेशन दिया.
Rohit ji, I want to personally thank you for taking time and coming on the panel.
मैं नहीं आऊँगा.
Yes. If we are going to see polyesters and western wear, I'm not coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank Nadeem ji once again for giving us an opportunity. And my best wishes to all of you. And I hope the younger generation has picked up something. Thank you, all of you. Thanks a lot. Namaskar and goodbye.
All right, thank you everyone. We will have some 15 minutes of break from here. We'll have a snacks outside and a cup of tea before we join again. Post this session, we are going to have a session on, which is very important for us, breaking the glass ceiling. How I was chosen to lose, but I choose to win. That session is very important for us, and we are going to have something very important from Kiran Mazumdar Shah. But before we meet for the post session, there are certain changes in the program. Mrs. Simriti Irani, she was supposed to join us just after this break, but there has been some last time meeting that has been scheduled from Prime Minister's office. So she has requested that she'll be joining us at 2:30. And that session is going to be an interactive session. And I'm sure that all of you are ready with the questions. That's going to be a half an hour session with Mrs. Simriti Irani, and she wants to have this session as more interactive one. So we'll be meeting Mrs. Simriti Irani at 2:30. But before that, we have a very important session with Kiran Mazumdar Shah. We'll meet just after 15 minutes. We'll take a break, just fresh up, and we'll meet for a wonderful session. Thank you.